Okay, let me share the screen. All right, guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. All right, welcome everyone. So the talk is about cultivating entrepreneurship for economy and ecology. It's more on the lines about why entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurship is essential, not just at after your college, but right from your the first year. So I'll be talking about I'll talking about of a developer perspective, like why would a developer need to think like an entrepreneur. I'll be talking about various students who are not developers as well, like how does it help them and all. So quickly, I'll just tell about myself. Like I've graduated from the Pilani Hyderabad campus in 2016. I was heading the VFX club over there. I was into animations, design, and all kinds of 3D modeling and all that. Then later, I mean, this is only to show that I have had my, you know, uh, stunt as a jack of all trades. So basically, I understand different elements of the startup environment. So I've been into Sanskrit and foreign languages, like setting it up, the whole language aspect, like where students can come and learn languages, together. It's not like your own individual place where you're only learning alone. It's always when you get to learning a language, collaborative effort is there, and it helps students better, to understand, to communicate back and forth, etc. Which is the same with DevSoc as well, where with regards to code, when you're trying to collaborate and trying to learn together, it gives you more results than if you're doing it alone. So, anyways, after that, we quickly set up something called the Diwali store, where we sold candles, firecrackers, and all that. And that was our first ever startup activity back in college. After that, quickly, I got involved in a couple of startups. We have the business incubator, TBI, over there. So I was into digital marketing, and then I worked as a UI UX engineer at different places. I have employed UI UX design and also development, and then later I went ahead and became a full stack engineer in Node and Mean technology, the Mean architecture. So I've also tried NLP engineering, where you're like working with the Indian languages, not just English. Where I've worked with Telugu, I've worked with Tamil and Punjabi as well, where we try to um, convert speech to text and then further text to various insights. So whatever dialogue flow and all Alexa is doing, we used to do that with Indian languages. So the company is called ASR Lytics. So over there, I did that, and then later I got into computational linguistics, and also worked on freelance projects, IoT, and other kinds of like basic projects. Like you have a front end and a back end, and you're just dishing it out. Later, I went ahead and became a product development manager. So currently, like I work with multiple startups. One is Fountain. So at Fountain, I do content marketing and strategy, and I also work with Caarya right now. Like I'm just getting started over there. So in between, I've created Klimaverse. I'll be talking about that at the end. And finally, I just wanted to say that I'm a big enthusiast of innovation and sustainability. Innovation as in innovation management, technology entrepreneurship, and all that, and sustainability as in the environment and ecology. So you might be wondering, right? Like why do we need a talk on entrepreneurship when it's about your code? When the DevSoc is all about programming, getting better at code, and jobs related to programming and all that. So I just wanted to like quickly tell you that entrepreneurship is all about creating value and extracting value. It's got nothing to do with just one role. You can have an entrepreneurial mindset, entrepreneurial thinking with regards to anything. with regards to your job, with regards to your own personal growth, and all that. So I would define entrepreneurship as straight, just creating value and extracting value. That's it. So, to address the question for the developers, not for everyone else, like how does entrepreneurship and programming gel together? So, for this, Hussein, who is a contributor on Free Code Camp, if you have worked on it, you might be knowing him. Uh, he has, he has put forward 10 things which I would like to just talk about, and then we could go ahead and talk in detail about the next set of things. So if you're a junior developer, or if you're a developer who's just had 1 year experience working on code, you might have seen that a lot of times you just jump to code. You just find a new framework and you want to like just try it out very badly. You're like interested in what do you call exploring it, just the whole framework or a couple of frameworks or whatever it is. But the problem is that you're not understanding what problem you're exactly solving. Without that, you're just jumping to the code. So this is a common pattern which we see even in junior developers, much after like 2 3 years after getting out of college. So here, Hussein says that it's better if you understand the problem at hand, and then slowly get to the coding part. I think even your seniors or someone must have told you in your life, if you have been coding for a while, not to jump to code immediately. Do it after you have understood everything, and then you can you analyze everything and go forward. So similarly, there are other kinds of problems. I won't take much time through all these because we are running short in time. So at times you might be assuming that a feature is needed, and you just go ahead and work on it without questioning. Do you have to spend time building it? All right, it's because you have this innate drive to code and all that. Is you don't ask these questions in general. And then the same with new features. You would think it can be done overnight, but you see that it won't. It might take 4 days or a week, and that might endanger your timelines. Similarly, there are other kinds of problems like publishing code without testing, imaginary problems, which is like you're sitting and thinking at a deeper level if a particular algorithm is going to work, or all kinds of thoughts. So a bit of entrepreneurial mindset helps you do better. And how does that happen? It doesn't happen by listening to this webinar per se, but implementing certain changes in your life. And not just that, by being more open to other things than just coding, right? Even after you go out of college, and after you see that you are a programmer at a place, or you're a tester, you'll soon realize that if you have a drive for other things, you will soon realize that it's not enough. You want to do more. So all these kinds of problems arise, and for that, it would be better if you are ready from now itself. Like you are ready from now, or you have a bit of experience, at least as an intern, doing various things. So similarly, there's perfectionism as well, where you try to think, you want to perfect your first version, and to solve that, it would be better if you build it, ship it, and iterate it. Shipping it is, let's say a customer comes to you and asks you about some kind of a problem. You build application, you build an application, you ship it, and then they'll come back to you and say there is, whatever features they would want. So you can keep iterating. So these kinds of things, right, you can learn only if you're in an environment that promotes entrepreneurship, where simply taking up a project can help you understand skills in with regards to technical skill set. But actually sitting and working on a project takes you a much longer way. So just a second. All right. So similarly, there are other kinds of issues like managerial issues like grouping tasks and all that, which you might find getting better at if you're working with several startup projects and all that. So I'll go ahead and talk about the two layers of work which I found in my own personal life, to be very mind, what do you call it, it enhances my understanding of this whole world outside, once you get out of the college. So you should learn two things, which is focusing on the product and not just the application. So this means that there's a difference between the product and the application. So you might think the product is just the application or the set of applications working together. It's not just that. And similarly, focusing on the problem and not just the product. So product and an application, the difference is application is all about your software, whatever you write to, to get the customer whatever he or she needs at a very technical level. But the product is much more. A product is about, it's about taking into considerations the user's needs, trying to understand where they're coming from, what their challenges are. And when you do all these kinds of things, you also begin to learn that it might not directly affect your technical skills per se, but you'll understand where to use what. Like you might understand quickly that okay, microservices architecture is there. Now I'll be able to implement that in certain kind of an environment where I would require constant scaling of different services. All right, I'm going to use a distributed architecture for this. Like you should be able to come up with those kinds of thoughts, and that happens only when you're like focusing on the overall product and the requirements. When there is money on the table, when you are actually staking not just your energies but also someone else's money, then these kinds of considerations come into the picture, and they will force you to think about all these things. So the secondary is that not just the product but also the problem. You have to see if whatever product you're building is it solving a kind of a problem in the society or whatever, like whatever domain you take up. So it can be a technological problem, it can be an educational problem, whatever it is. So you should understand how you can assess whether your product is doing what you set out to, and is it to the standards that everything else is going on, currently. So problem solving is essential for success. So, be it any domain, it can be a personal life or also professional life. So, you can hone that skill of problem solving, like thinking about things as problems and solving them instead of being scattered within your mind. If you are in at a if you are involved in an entrepreneurial venture. Also, your product might have to be destroyed, recreated, redressed, and chopped off, etc., as per the requirements and changing needs of the users. Why does this happen? Because there are lots of factors that change the world. Especially, we see COVID, and you see that people have quickly responded by shifting to remote work and all of that. There are always different kinds of things that happen outside, which are pushing your businesses in different ways. You should be able to shape your product. If it is not ready for that kind of a change, you should be able to think how you can change, how can you change that, not just at a design level, not just at a business level, but also at a technological level. So that's one more concern that we see, that it's important that you see that you're able to think along these lines as well, as in uh, is my product adapting as per the changing situations outside, right? So there is something called YesG. So it's a Youth Entrepreneurship Strategy Group. It's a policy document created by the people of United States for different policy makers. So what they speak about is students need to learn to take initiative. They need to learn to take intelligent risk taking. Uh, they need to learn even collaboration as well. We might think collaboration is quite easy, but there are quite a lot of challenges that we see every day. It's not easy to just work with another person because you just don't like to work with them, or they are not at the same level of your understanding or whatever it is. And there is also the problem of opportunity recognition. So how do you recognize where do you have opportunity and where not, and go forward with that. So What the policy talks about is that entrepreneurship training in all schools is like very essential, because the world is moving towards a free marketplace where you can bring in your own ideas to the table. You can create new kinds of things every single day, and that's what they focus on, and that's what we are trying to bring into India as well, like into our own communities and all that. So there's more emphasis on strong partnerships between schools and colleges and mentors and coaches, which is missing currently in our. If you take a look at our schools or our colleges, forget bits. Probably bits also have all the bits campuses also have their own problems to solve with regards to entrepreneurship, because they might not see immediately the need for it. It is changing. It has been changing since 2014 or so, at least in my campus at Hyderabad. I know DevSoc is open to lots of creative products as well. But I mean, not just DevSoc, I mean, Bits Goa. So, but there's still that a lot more that needs to be done with the whole Indian education sector, which all of us almost hear about every day. So essentially, students should have the ability to recognize opportunities in one's life. Like, what all opportunities do I have? Not just after going out of the college and then figuring out their path, but while in the college itself, so that they can tune their path accordingly. So they should have the ability to pursue such opportunities by generating new ideas and gather the required resources. So at an age of 20 or 21, when you're out of the college, you don't really have resources. You might even have debt from student loans. So you should be able to find places where you can really go get into and you know uh, kind of like evolve, or kind of like where you have a bubble of growth, where you can involve yourself in different kinds of activities surrounding startups and all that. So they should have the ability to create and operate a new venture as well. So it shouldn't take you much time to come up with a startup. You shouldn't be thinking about doing it when you're 30 or when you're 40, because starting early and failing is much better. It teaches a lot more things than saving it for the future. So if you're a person who is interested in it, the forward talk, the whatever I'm going to tell you forward is for you. Even if you're not interested in it and you want to like just get a great job at a big company and all that, that is also fine, because there are quite a lot of things which I'll be addressing which are helpful for that kind of role as well. And there's no issue in taking this or that. It's personal choice and personal preference. So, but I just wanted to like focus on the entrepreneurship as a whole in India, and also your thinking within yourself, your own mind and your own mindset and your environment and all that. How can you change things so that they will add value not just to yourself but everyone else, and that gets compounded over time. So, experiential learning is required according to this document, where youth is exposed to real life business building. There are risks involved in real life business building. There are lots of ambiguities. There's a lot of creativity that goes into real life business building. So, are you like really exposed to all of that? Like, as students of BITS, as students of any other college as well, uh, are you really exposed to that? Is a question you should ask yourself. And you can if you think that no is the answer, then there is a lot to do, and you can definitely implement a lot of things, and uh, you know bring in that kind of exposure, which will help you understand real life businesses right during college. So I'll come back to how do we cultivate entrepreneurship, because that's the whole theme of this talk. So I'll just talk about collaboration and ownership. So essentially, collaboration is key, as I was saying. You cannot do things alone. So collaboration has always been the key to innovation, because diverse mindsets, be it men, women, all kinds of genders as well, and all kinds of mindsets, all bring different things to the table. Like north people, south people, whatever it is. You need to have a good mix of all kinds of people, because they bring their own perspective to the problems that we have. Surrounding an issue. Let's say you're trying to build an application for a healthcare kind of some kind of application. You should be able to see through all kinds of people that are involved, and for that, having a diverse team and collaborating with different types of people helps you going forward. And collaboration is also one of the essential elements of an entrepreneurial mindset. And coming to ownership, ownership is about taking up tasks and finishing them as your own. Like, you're trying to drive it. You're not waiting for someone else to tell you, all right, do this or do that. You're just trying to proactively ask them, what's up? I want to like do this. I want to like finish this, or I'm interested in taking this up. Can I validate this idea of mine? So why you're doing that? Because you see that whatever you're adding value to is not just a job, but it's something you're trying to create. You're trying to create something beautiful. Maybe you're just lending a hand, and you're one of the 50 people working on it, but you still have your own individual contribution to that. And if you take up ownership and you can drive it, that is going to add a lot of value. To to not just others, to your own growth as well, because it becomes a habit then, everything else. So you're not waiting for someone else to check up on you, but you're trying to drive it. So these two have been even my personal lessons in my life. I did not do well with collaboration. I did not do well with ownership. It took me time to understand that, and today I cannot imagine doing anything without both of these things. So that's the reason I put them in a separate slide. So there are four important things according to the Center for International Private Enterprise. Uh, these four important things will cultivate entrepreneurship, and I've spoken about the importance of it and all that. But you need to also realize that importance, understanding it is not the is just one part of the game. The next part is about doing it, like trying to understand various challenges involved and all that. So the four important things. So you need to understand. Any person to cultivate a good entrepreneurship is that the first one is context. You should be able to like focus on your own locality needs and advantages. You shouldn't like look at someone else doing it somewhere else and trying to mimic the same thing. You should be able to understand, okay, I want to create something which will help me flourish as a business, and also help the other people in my community. So US models won't work for India and vice versa. I mean, you have to do tweaking. It's not like a Uber won't work here, which has been working in the US. You just have to do different kinds of tweaking. You should be able to understand where you need to pivot, where do you need to change, and all that. And there are also like different kinds of financing challenges. Like depending on where you are, your geolocation. Let's say you're in US. US will allow angel investing more, far more. Probably in India does as well. But in certain other parts of the world, where like take Arab countries or different kinds of other countries, uh, you don't have much investors over there. It's more a trust based business. So you need to see like what is your environment, what is the locality that you're in, and how can you like really uh, make use of the advantages that your locality brings in. So the next one is cultural perceptions, like let's say family attitude towards your entrepreneurship. That can hinder your progress as well. So you would have to deal with that, not just by telling them, but also involving a healthy network where families are constantly given information as to how entrepreneurship is changing. It's changing the market. It's changing everything else. How it can give a real growth for an individual and also for a community. Oftentimes as students from big institutions or small institutions, whatever it is, people want more security, and that is something which won't work always for everyone. So uh, whatever you think is secure today need not always be, unless it's a government job, which is another story altogether. I don't want to talk about that. So participation in markets. There are some people who are market averse, not just risk averse. They just don't want to participate in anything that moves up and down. So market averse is due to fear, a fear of losing everything and making mistakes. Now, to really counter that, to really learn, not to operate from some kind of an opportunity and not just from fear, you should be able to like involve yourself in at least a small activity where probably you just lose a couple of bucks, like 500 rupees or 1,000 or whatever it is, probably because of your startup, probably because of anything else. So you just need to analyze what cultural perceptions are there which are preventing yourself and also your friends from taking part in any kind of entrepreneurial activity. There are also different kinds of things like bankruptcy and market exit policies. India might not have a good amount of them, but times are changing and things are like getting better. So make note of these things and take a wise decision after seeing enough. If you're getting into this is what I would say. And the two other important things are like working together. I've spoken about that. Collaboration leads to more potential for innovation, and not just between people, but between organizations also, like foundations, non-profit, and all that. So let's say you're working on some kind of a problem, like there's a lot of pollution, plastic content, and all that. You can work on your own idea as a startup, as a for-profit organization, but also you can involve a non-profit organization, because they can give you insights, they can give you more tools, techniques, and all to handle different things. Not just that, you might have to even approach foundations for different kinds of support and all that. So all of these are like quite soft skills. They're not hard skills per se. Whatever I've been talking about, the cultural perceptions and all these things. But as you grow older, you see that those are what are important than your skill set that you have, right now, like whatever your skills are, be it programming, designing. So you need to be able to like strongly learn something on your own, at a very personal level, but also ensure that everyone else is doing that within your organization, be it your DevSoc, be it any kind of a society where people are like working together towards a common goal. All right. Next, after that, there's government support. There is, you know, right now, I have a different slide for that, like how the Indian government is supporting. But apart from that, whatever place you are in, like US or any other kind of state or whatever it is, you should be able to see like can you work with the policies set up by the government? Are they going to help you in any ways? So this will like ease your problem sometimes, like this will help you make better decisions at times. And lastly, entrepreneurship is more than just about money. All right. So there's social entrepreneurship as well, where it's all about developing your communities through various methods. It's very diverse. Like you can tackle any kind of a problem that is there outside. You can tackle poverty as a whole thing. Like you can tackle gender issues. You can tackle a lot of things. And then entrepreneurs go on to become angel investors as well, as they become venture capitalists also, and they again add to the cycle of entrepreneurship. Like let's say I have begun as an entrepreneur, and I have taken help of an angel investor. Later I'll become an angel investor again, and I'll fund someone else. So the cycle will go on, and this will really maximize the whole cycle, the whole growth capability. It will ensure that this thing keeps going and is not broken. So that's how the whole economy is also in some sense there is a lot of growth, there's a lot of value added to it. And then entrepreneurs are also involved in private sector policies. So recently we had this space related discussions wherein they want to bring in private sector into space. So here and there have been some kind of private enterprise leaders and entrepreneurs who have spoken about it. So it's just an example. So just like that, you can have different kinds of people, be it a business leader, shaping different kinds of policies. So entrepreneurship is not just about the basic, profit making, money making thing, but it's about creating change. So context, cultural perceptions, working together, and what else can it offer? These are few things which are important for you to understand entrepreneurship better, and also to create to foster an environment that helps this this mindset or this kind of an activity get cultivated per se. So quickly, how do you encourage youth entrepreneurship? The first thing is that you allow them to think divergent, as in it's not convergent. It's all about you are getting into different kinds of domains. You're trying to understand things from different lenses and all that. You're encouraging problem solving, research, and you're creating a safe space for ideas as well. So only if you feel safe to test your ideas, to think and to implement, you kind of foster creativity within yourself. So that kind of a safe space is required, at least for the college students who are like just 17, 18, or 19. They should be able to challenge existing ideas. And and as I was saying about ownership, so leaders should be encouraged through ownership, and we need to provide experiences to explore one's creativity and innovation. And as part of Caarya experience, that's what we try to do, find out how can students choose various paths to explore their own interests, their own capabilities and creativity and all that. Then failure, handling failure, basically. So according to Robin D. Shulman, all these 8 things. Uh, uh, when you fail early, that's the best thing. That's really the best thing that you can have, because it teaches something which cannot be taught through any book. It cannot be taught through being successful as well. It failure really teaches you a lot of things, and it cannot be paraphrased. Actually, I cannot really tell you exactly how, but when you take an opportunity, when you work on it, when you go forward, and when you fail, you begin to understand why it failed and what exactly happened, even though it brings about some kind of disappointment. And it lets you become more resilient as well in life, like not just for now, even in future. Like if there is some kind of a failure with regards to your organization or anything else, you're already in some sense ready to handle it, because you have been practicing resilience. And then financial literacy, which is something we have a dearth in India and also outside. We don't know, really, how do we invest our money, how do we save it, what are the different options. Things are picking up now. Definitely there have been a lot of changes, but not at a level where the whole of India has benefited. Even tier 2 colleges, even many tier 1 colleges have this problem of teaching something called financial literacy, because they think that it's just not required. But that's the one of the most important things actually out there. And then lastly, model positive relationships. Okay, I'm sorry. So you should be able to pursue and build meaningful relationships. So you cannot do it alone. And not just that, it's about meeting new people and always taking advantage of whatever opportunities exist. Because at the end of the day, being opportunistic is not just about being greedy or something like that, but it's about trying to see how can you better a certain business process or certain process every day on a daily basis. Like how can it keep evolving per se. So that's how you can model positive relationships, not just with others, but also within your organization. You should learn these 8 critical eight important things. Where if you want to build entrepreneurship. So this is about encouraging youth on entrepreneurship, like how what are required per se, and the four before are about the different factors involved. So these are about going forward. Going forward, how do you create a space for students, for children, for any kind of beginner to actually feel, welcome into these spaces of entrepreneurship. So this is one way of cultivating entrepreneurship. And coming to the developer part, so if we ask what can a developer do, so if you are a developer, like because most of you guys have been have registered to this through the DevSoc, I'm assuming that you're developers. I mean, most of you are developers. So the fastest way to inculcate entrepreneurial spirit while being a developer is building a product. And building a product is not about building an application. So you should be ready to fail a lot and embrace the learning that the failure gives you. And coming to the product, building a product requires collaboration with various people like a designer, a marketing guy, a sales team, academicians. They can add to a lot of things, professors, engineers, and developers. So it's not just about your technical skills per se, but you're also trying to understand much more than that. So on the right side, from a personal experience, I've grown from an application developer to a product developer. Where the difference is that building an application is mostly a technical centric process. It has its own ocean of understanding. I respect that, but it would help more if you're understanding from a product sense as well. So let's take an example. Let's take a very senior role of a systems architect. So, according to Wikipedia, what does a systems architect do? He or she talks to users, stakeholders, sponsors to determine their changing needs. Um, he or she generates the highest level of requirements based on users' needs and constraints, like whatever product needs to be built. And one ensures the set of requirements is consistent, complete, and correct as well. Cost benefit analysis has to be performed. There is acceptance. There he has to set up acceptance tests, for testers and all that, so that only if this is done, you are accepting the product. And the talks I mean he or she talks to designers to understand design concepts. He or she talks to implementation team to understand their challenges. So what is happening here? Why did I put this up? So the reason I'm talking about a systems architecture is to tell you that at a higher level, even a systems architect is collaborating with and listening to various people. So a strong set of soft skills definitely pave the way for success in any top fields. So what you begin to see is that even if you start as a junior developer and then make your way up forward, you'll have to really interact with diverse set of teams, and sometimes teams might be working in silos. So one team might not be communicating with the other, which is what is changing now. Now that the world is slowly going towards a gig economy of sorts. So preparation for diverse ways of thinking can be done right from a junior developer stage by inculcating more entrepreneurial ways. Basically, that's the reason for this example here. So, anyways, if you're already planning your way forward in the tech field or even if any other field, these kinds of skills are going to really add a lot of value to you. So taking part in entrepreneurial activity will really help you in this way. Coming to software versus product that I was saying. So a software is an engineering problem. A software alone doesn't change the world, but a product can. Now I know this might seem like a hit on. I'm talking about uh, software in a kind of a way, but it's not. It's just to say that at the end of the day, software is a component that needs to be solved. But a product is what users are interacting with. Definitely, software is providing the whole. It's the soul of it. So if you're a good developer, your skills are really tested when you're creating a software for sure. But if you want to be a good, you know, a leader, someone who is like thinking from product perspective, someone who wants to do more than just put down code. Even if you don't want to do that, even if you want to just write a great code and manage your team of juniors later on in life, it'll really help if you're like working with products. So essentially, product involves people, business, technology, and design. So you think about people, your users, try to gain a deeper understanding where they are coming from. And there's a whole set of things that are involved when you're talking about people. There's UX research, there are personas, there are all kinds of things. And continuing that, Neil Patel, he's a famous content marketer. So he talks about, much more than that. He talks about intelligent customer engagement is required if you're trying to engage your people, like chatbots, comments. You need to have an idea of buyer personas, like what kind of people are going to use your product or an application that you're going to build. You need to be aware of customer analytics, like how much time did they spend on the page that you have created, and which pages of your whole set of pages on your website are getting more traffic. This will give you insights as to what people are interested in. So, and then you should be able to anticipate the future, how a buyer is going to change their patterns, buying patterns. You should predict those changes. And finally, you should understand the customer journey as well, understanding your user's path. Like, are they like going, are they, are they facing any problems when they are using this product and all that. So this is from a people perspective. From a technology perspective, I think you guys know a lot of things already, and even if you don't, because of the path that you're in, you guys are developers. I've not put enough. You already know a lot of things. So best code practices and development patterns have to be followed, and reusable code and latest technologies and all that. From a very business perspective, you should be able to see opportunities, revenue models. You should be able to understand the basic business model canvas, and how investment and funding works. What is your customer value proposition exactly, and the market analysis. Now, coming to design, I just wanted to share something interesting. So this is what I stumbled upon. So design thinking and machine learning. So design thinking is about applying design, the principles of design to solve any kind of a problem, any business problem, any problem that you see outside. So design thinking generally involves empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping, and testing, the 5 steps. And they are non-linear. You don't have to like really go from one step to another step always. Sometimes you can come from fourth step to back to the second step, and keep questioning yourself. So empathy is about understanding users, what they are going through, what their problems are, and getting enough information. Defining is about putting together that information, analyzing observations. You're trying to synthesize those observations into a core problems. You're able to better define a problem. Sometimes what you think is the problem need not be the problem. It might be something else, like something else might be a problem. But you might have thought that, okay, this you just need to solve something like this. So once you work with products, once you try to understand, what are the different challenges that people are facing, and what are the ways that people are solving that right now, which needs to be changed, you'll be able to see that you can define your core problems in a much different way. Then there's ideating, where you think outside the box, you identify new solutions, use ideation techniques, etc. And then prototyping. You have low fidelity prototypes, high fidelity, low functioning prototypes, high functionality, and all that. So what essentially a low fidelity prototype is, just a wireframe. You just have drawn a wireframe of how your app looks. A high fidelity is about giving it more graphical detail. A low functioning prototype is about their functionality being very minimal. So you're not talking about the details about the whole thing. You're just at a very broad level. You're trying to probably only talk about one problem that you're trying to solve. whereas your overall product might be solving many more than just that. So later there's a testing process where you're iteratively processing, redefining, ideating, and again, you're doing the whole cycle again. Now, the comparison, interestingly, that I stumbled upon is that in machine learning, which you're probably aware of, being, being into uh, development and computer science, uh, you do something like you are analyzing the needs of a problem. Like, let's say the common machine learning problem is about predicting different kinds of rental patterns or some kind of an economic, growth, or it can be about the prices, etc. So you're synthesizing again. So you're trying to break down things and then combine them and create one particular set, which is addressing one problem, radiating on what feature maps should be there, what classes should be there. It can be a CNN, it can be a neural network, it can be all kinds of, it can be different, what do you call, different components. There are like endless lists of components that go into whole machine learning, deep learning, and all that. Not machine learning, but yeah, deep learning. Then you try to tune your model to boost accuracy and avoid overfitting, which is similar to prototyping and trying to understand in the design thinking perspective. Finally, you validate by testing against your data, the test data and the trained data. Whoever is like, whoever knows the machine learning and deep learning would understand this. But I don't want to like, get stuck on that. It's basically you take like, let's say you have 100 pieces of information, you're taking 70 pieces of it, you're training your data, you're training your classes, you're training your whole machine learning model on top of that, and then later you're testing it against the 30 to see that, okay, my model is working really well. So there is a very broad level of comparison and analogy over here. So design thinking is just like that. Like it need not be like in the way that you're doing it with your models, but it's something like that. So coming to economy, startups are beneficial to the economic expansion because they obviously create more jobs, they create more opportunities for employment and specialization. As in, today you are just a developer, tomorrow you'll be like, front-end engineer, a back-end engineer, and then tomorrow, and then the next day you'll be like, you'll specialize further and further. You'll be going into like mean architecture, you'll be going into this kind, you'll be like interested to solve only a particular set of things. So startups really bring that kind of like specialized jobs, because the whole startup culture is to like make use of whatever the latest technological advances we have, and they should be driving it. If they drive it, if startups drive it, obviously you'll have more jobs pertaining to that. Similarly, there is a more creation of wealth because you're bringing in investors. There is increased capital and liquidity. There is also more competition, which is good. Competition is good, even though it is tough. It is good. Because you're bringing in more entrepreneurs. Competition really brings in entrepreneurship, the whole spirit. And then there is like more higher standards of living, especially in rural areas. If you set up something over there, you're giving jobs, you're just changing the way people work over there. And finally, there's an increase in GDP. So so since 2014, startups have collectively raised $50 billion across 3,700 deals, and there are about 250 quality accelerator and incubator systems. This is from your story. These are different stats which say that the startup game in India is really going good. And then finally, they also say that India is today home to the third largest startup ecosystem behind only the US and China. So these are this is how like this is like a basic idea as to how startups really help the economy. And also, there are different kinds of benefits that the government of India is providing right now. There's a simple process for registering startups. There's a reduction in cost of filing patents. You are having easy access to funds, government funds, and government has been encouraging banks as well to finance. There is a tax holiday for 3 years. You can apply for government tenders. There are research parks coming up, and then no time-consuming compliances. There's tax saving for investors as well, but things might have changed from the last budget. There's an easy exit policy. Previously, it was very tough to get rid of your company if you wanted to close your company, but now it's getting easier. So coming to Caarya, so what we are trying to do with Caarya is that uh, we believe that change needs to happen at the student level, and this is the basic. The diagram over here talks about learning, interning, mastering, and earning. So this is how, in general, any student goes through. Like they try to learn skills, they try to intern, and then they try to master that, and then they try to earn after that. So we are trying to solve the bridges. We're not trying to come up with the same the four nodes, the four things. We're trying to bridge through applied learning, mentorship, and networking and accountability and all that. So we believe that change needs to happen at the student level, at college level, and also the way we work. So the economy that we're seeing, that is going to come in is the gig economy, where people can really work from any place within their own time. More freelancers are coming up. People can involve into different, multiple things. They need not do just one role. So all that. And then finally, our individual growth, personal satisfaction, skill set contribute to the kind of work we do. So in order for a person to go from beginner to a professional, Caarya offers applied learning through projects, internships, and mock corporate simulation. Mastery through mentorship, when you're trying to collaborate with community and you're doing peer-to-peer learning, that's when this really happens. Finally, all of the work during college is consolidated into a detailed portfolio along with digital resumes and skill maps of the student, with skill radars showing the person's strengths and weaknesses. So finally, you cannot learn entrepreneurship, you have to live it. So one can only do that in the beginning under a safe space, which Caarya kind of creates. Successful products that are created with Caarya's program can be pushed to incubators further to make them fully functional businesses. Coming to ecology quickly, I think I'll end this in about 1 to 2 minutes, or probably three. Yeah. So there are 9 Earth system processes like climate change, loss of biodiversity, acidification of the ocean, destruction of the stratospheric ozone, consumption of fresh water worldwide, agricultural changes concerning land use, nitrogen and phosphorus production, atmospheric aerosol loading, and chemical pollution. So these are the 9 Earth system processes, and we define. So, I mean, when you're talking about ecological startups, ecological value creation, when you want to put a startup that is helping the ecology, which is what I am passionate about as well. Uh, we have planetary boundaries, a factor, which is planetary boundaries is a factor. It's a binary variable indicating whether the ecological startup is addressing explicitly one or not at all, one or more of the 9 Earth system processes in its business offering, which means that is your startup addressing any of these 9 challenges, 9 Earth processes that are happening, and if they are, how? So that is like your planetary boundaries. And then there's a sustainability strategy, the strategy a company pursues with its business offering with regards to sustainability. And there's sustainability ambition. It's about the degree of sustainable effort the ecological startup has already contributed. So all these three things really add to the sustainable value creation of of a venture, of a ecological startup. So examples are, there's green charcoal, which is solving fuel scarcity for Uganda, but the financing is happening through United Nations over here. It's not a fully enterprise-driven kind of a model. Green charcoal converts discarded palm kernels, rice husks, coffee husks, and maize cobs into a replacement for both wood charcoal and firewood. Because the country is really poor, They are doing something with these kinds of methods to generate more fuel. In Boston, there's something called fried farms, which nourish, which provide nourishing hydroponic systems, where you're trying to grow crops within your home or within a large kind of a building. You're doing vertical farming on a commercial scale, and you can grow up to 8,800 plants at once. Essentially, what these startups are doing is they're trying to solve ecological issues, but also they are making it profitable. On one hand, it might seem like why should we involve profit and all that, but people will not really come and work for you if you're not providing monetary benefit. At the end of the day, economy and ecology have to go hand in hand. Like you see that the whole ecology is disturbed when economy just went on a boom without giving a damn about the environment. So, and the other way, you cannot just do any kind of an ecological change without bringing in all kinds of benefits, uh, you know on a monetary basis. So that's what I'm interested in. So Blink Green is a Indian startup, is an Indian startup, and it's also led by a woman. Her name is Pooja Apte, and she tries to like convert tire scrap to footwear. So it's like an eco-friendly and aesthetic solution. Then there's a good startup which I really love, Papco Greenware, where they're from Mumbai, they create tableware, eco boxes, gourmet balls, 100% made from plant fibers. So paper bags, pizza boxes, wooden cutlery, etc. So these are 100% plastic free and 100% compostable. Finally, Klimaverse is my brainchild. I've just started. It's not really up there. So the tagline is aligned with eco design. Klimaverse is about inviting more sustainability, but more than that, the important keyword that I am following is circular economy. So on this planet, every organism apart from human beings, uh, every organism really doesn't create waste. Whatever waste is created, that is food for someone else. But humans are the only one who are operating in a linear fashion. So circular economic practices is an environmental term which says that you're trying to make that linear economy into a more circular kind of a. You're trying to like create. One second. I think I. Yeah. So you're trying to like bridge that again by reducing the wastage and all that. So I had a call on my phone, so I thought this might have gotten disconnected. So finally, the last two slides, Climaverse is an organization whose vision is to drive the shift towards a circular economy, where resource utilization is powered by environmental friendly approaches with education, implementation, and support. Apart from this, Klimaverse aims at creating such products and help other startups involved in the environmental domain. So it's all about bringing people together, teaching them how they can really work on products, involve themselves in entrepreneurship, and then create their own ventures, which is helpful for economy and also ecology. Entrepreneurship in the area of reusing waste, pushing for second use, recycling, and a functionality economy, renewable energy and eco design, etc. So T is a theme. It's a wing. It's technology entrepreneurship for economy and ecology. It's a wing under Klimaverse focused specifically on marrying entrepreneurship with marrying ecology with economy using technology entrepreneurship. So the essential idea is to make ecological shift run by economic benefit by pushing forth products and ideas in this direction. So under T, there are various events, workshops, and programs aimed at educating students of ages 17 and above about basics of entrepreneurship, technology entrepreneurship, and ecological startups. So we teach how to build ecological startups surrounding products or services. So this is an exploratory thing. We are doing it together. So even I'm trying to figure out ways. And having the help of various inspired people who want to work in this really goes a long way. So ProTEEE is about a program in this T. It's a practical course for students in second or third years of engineering to learn about product design and development in entrepreneurship basics, etc. But they will be doing that, also keeping ecology in their focus. They're trying to do something for ecology as well. So this will take about 4 to 6 months of coursework involving workshops, events, and competitions. And we provide a certificate at the end. So the overall, this is where I end the talk. So overall, this has been about how we can cultivate entrepreneurship and why there's a need for it. How every person, be it a developer or designer, can really contribute to it, and not just that, what is there in it for them as well. Like why should they involve with all of this? So yeah, that's the end of this, and I would like to thank you all if you have learned anything, if you've been hearing, and thank you for your presence. And yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, Ishan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dheeraj. That was really amazing talk. Okay, so before finishing the talk, we'll have a quick one or two questions from you. Okay, we have received some questions. So the
Yeah.
first question is from Satyam. Okay, so he's asking, as you're working as a developer and as a product designer both, so no, what we can do is when we have to uh, tell someone about the product or the technical skills to a non-technical person. Okay, there was kind of a gap, connection gap, which everyone face. Like if I have to tell someone about how what are the product is and what are the technicalities of the product to a non-technical person. So how we can cover that gap and tell him in a specific way, like a easier way.
All right. So by a non-technical person, do you mean someone who is a stakeholder of this project, or someone else working along on its head?
It can be anyone. It can be anyone. Like anyone whom I have to, specify my project, whom I have to tell my project.
All right. So one issue with this when it comes to this is that oftentimes you see that whoever is involved in there are two kinds of people. One is those who are working alongside you. They are giving you content, be it different kinds of text content or design or whatever it is, and they don't understand the technical difficulties which you're following. And there's the second type, who is your project manager per se, who is leading your whole the effort that is driven towards building the whole product and all that. Now, one thing is for sure, communication is one of the most important things when we are in any kind of a project. As a product manager, as a tech lead, I've seen this quite a lot. Not often people are on the same page. They don't agree with each other's opinions, and not just that, they don't have enough information. Like let's say two developers decided to do something, another developer doesn't know it. Not just that, if the developer team is deciding certain things, the design team doesn't have that kind of that knowledge. Why are they doing what they're doing? It's always about finding a common ground. Now, just like you don't understand, they don't understand your technical expertise, or they don't understand the nitty gritty details. Even you will not understand where they are coming from always. So ideally, it's all about communication. If you're not able to communicate something technical to a non-technical person, then the only way to address it in a short way is to tell the challenges involved with that. Like you're trying to address the features, the challenges that are associated with a particular a technology or whatever it is. You should tell them why you're using what you're using. You should be outright and honest. If you don't know, let's say the person comes to you and asks you, why are you implementing something on Python, not on Node, or not on something else? So if they don't understand the nitty gritty details as to how this framework allows you this, whatever it is, you better talk about it at a broad level. You ensure that that message is given, because oftentimes we don't really bother about telling why we're choosing what we're choosing. Not just that, if you're not able to work with another framework, you should tell them outright. This is a very tough problem at your age, probably, because at that age there is like a fear as to what do I not know and what do I know, etc. There's a lot of comparison, but it really helps the team move forward if you are able to communicate what your challenges are, what you don't know. And if they don't understand you from a technical standpoint, you need to like take a bit more time, try to explain what kinds of issues are there and how are they generally solved. And if you don't know how to solve them, then you should tell them that I need help from someone else. But if they don't understand you, which is another problem, then simplification is a good thing. And you need to also, you cannot go on and give them advice as a teacher. This often happens. One of my friends is there at Fountain, and he gets lost in the conversation when every junior developer comes to him. He tries to explain them everything, and 30 minutes of his time is lost. So you should be able to tell them, all right, so this is the whole problem. Now, if you want to learn more, please refer to this. I get that you are not from a technical background, but this is this is this to this extent I can simplify your question. But beyond this, you need to do some work on your own. So that kind of like a healthy atmosphere would really work for you and for the other person as well. And oftentimes these are very dynamic. We don't know why they don't understand. It can be due to literacy issues, it can be due to all kinds of issues. But yeah, having a teamwork kind of a mindset really goes a long way in solving these problems.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dheeraj. Yeah, that was really great points. Okay, and now for the second question, we'll have Aditya. He is asking, because of this corona pandemic, many companies are firing their employees. Okay, so there's a very less job right now. And if you're talking about the entrepreneurship, how do you think that all of this situation will affect the entrepreneurship? Like, will there be more startups or less startups? And what about the startups that just begin to uh, cultivate? What will happen to them?
Awesome question. Awesome question. I'll try to address this. Be with me. So, entrepreneurship is always about being able to adapt, as I was saying. So, you might not do things that you were taught to, or the way you were doing things till now. Till now, let's say from last 2 3 years, you thought, okay, things work like this, and this is how you go to an office and all that. There's a pandemic. Pandemic has hit you right now, because of which people have lost jobs, yes, but also there are other companies which are trying to work their way through it. And major companies, if you see, they are trying to like what do you call, they're trying to welcome remote work as a long term plan. So here it's not your skill set as to your technical skills that is not it's not that which is being tested. What is being tested here is your ability to adapt. At the end of the day, are you able to like make use of whatever skills you have and try to approach different kinds of companies which are still running. You should be able to obviously take a hit at an economic level for sure, like, because you cannot find a job immediately. There's a lot of, it's a demand supply kind of a thing. There's a lot of supply and then the demand is less. So obviously you won't get your dream salary or whatever you expect at an economic level. That is going to be a challenge for sure for at least 1 or 2 years. But what you can do is, as young people, what do you have on your hand is time and energy, a lot of energy. After we are like 40 or 30 or 40, we cannot really have this energy and time as we have now. So what do we do is that we shift towards learning and trying to like understand different kinds of patterns of work. So a lot of belief systems as to how work has to be done is being challenged now, not just due to corona, but also much before that. There have been people who have been working freelance and remote, and not just that, there have been digital nomads who have been just randomly going across various countries working just through their laptop. Now, the question is about how do I involve myself in entrepreneurship? So I was only trying to address from a technical, like from a developer kind of a thing. But if you want to be involved in entrepreneurship per se, exactly, then it's pretty simple. It's actually simple, but it's tough. It's simple, but it is like, I mean, the process is simple, but it takes some time for you to like really get used to it. It is to understand where the problems are exactly. So if the world is trying to change, a basic example is people are sitting in their homes. Basic, very basic example, people are getting fat because they're not getting much activity. People really don't want to like exercise in their homes. So what can you do? How can you gamify that? Are you, so few people came up and I've seen a couple of applications. They're talking about, dance with your friends and whatever, random, all kinds of products where they're showing you how much calories you have burnt, and you're sharing that screen to screen. You're dancing with the person on one kind of a song. It's really nice. What is happening over here is the opportunity that they saw, the people, the creators of this, is that people are sitting at home. They want some kind of activity. They want some kind of collaboration because people talk to other people. We cannot really be introverted all our lives. We want at least a friend or two, even if we are introverts. Uh, so they saw this opportunity and they took it up. If they had continued with the same kind of a business model which was existing before Corona, of course, they have to shut it down. So Corona has the post-COVID scenario has brought in a lot of challenges, yes, but also opportunities. One of the most important things I've learned in my life, when I was like 3 years back, when I was working at an office, is our MD, or that time, MD or something. He was saying, wherever there is a problem, you should understand there is an opportunity as well. Wherever there's a problem, there's an opportunity for you to solve. You should really get greedy about solving that, because no one else has seen that problem, or maybe they have seen it and they have just gone away. They just see a wall and they're like, oh shit, this is closed. I think I cannot do anything. But being a bit senior, from any college, if you understand English, if you have enough rational thinking, critical thinking, I think you should stop wishing for jobs. Just like, I mean, I'm not talking against them. I'm just telling you, in these challenging times, you can take up a real adventure as to working with new kinds of concepts, new ideas. You can collaborate with others. You don't have to do it alone. You can bring in someone else who has been working on designs per se. So you can collaborate, you can bring this kind of a change, and you can think, how can I best utilize this? Always try to understand that wherever there is a problem, there is an opportunity. It's just about how you're trying to approach it. And that's the difficult part, is what I was saying. It's quite simple. Look at the problem, understand the problem, try to understand it at a very deep level. You need to be able to grasp the situation much better. There are all kinds of problems that COVID has brought. Now you need money. Who is going to invest on you if you're not able to solve something which is of use? An investor is at the end of the day, an investor is trying to make use of your work and try to increase their valuation. As in, if he's going to give you 20 rupees, he wants 30 rupees back. When is it going to happen? When you are showing a profitable business, even during challenging times. So for that to happen, you need to understand where opportunity is, how can you like shift it? How can you really make use of the existing scenarios, challenges? How can you bring a team together? If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a developer, then you can collaborate with such entrepreneurs, and you can find a lot of fun activities really, because you're working on new challenges. And I think you should be pumped up for that. As young people, you should be pumped up for taking in these kinds of challenges that really push you out of the comfort zone. So I know I'm not trying to motivate you or something over here, but I'm trying to just tell you that having better clarity goes a long way. Gain more clarity as to where you can make a difference, and I think that is going to open doors for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Here, that was really great points. Okay, I get what your point is. Like, we need to try hard and like make the use of the opportunities that we are getting from this point of view.
It's not about just trying hard. it's about trying to see better, you know. You're trying to
Exactly.
see where can you, like, how are patterns changing. You should be able to understand, okay, Swiggy is out because no one is going to purchase food from outside.
Exactly.
What can Yeah, so you try, and also try to learn from those giants who are already there, you know. You don't have to do it alone, because you can observe what other businesses are doing. Like, bigger businesses will try to handle it in their own way. They are definitely removing a lot of employees, but they're also trying to stay afloat. They're not trying to sink the whole company. So you can understand a lot from other bigger people, you know, who have been there before you, and you can learn from them as to what they are doing, what they would require. Now, if a company is doing something smart and that company is already there, you don't do the same thing. You try to see how you can add value to those companies. You get it, right? So it's not about copying them. It's about facilitating them in some sense. So, you know, having an eye for that kind of opportunity is better. But yeah, working hard, I would say it's about uh, being patient in these kinds of times. Of course, we cannot do anything else. It magically won't get solved overnight, but you'll have to kind of like understand, there are different kinds of intricacies which need to be solved, not just for you, for others as well. So if you're doing it through a business, if you're saying, okay, if there was no COVID, I would have charged you 10 rupees. But let's say now COVID times, I'm charging you 2 rupees only. I'm still making a business right now. I'm still trying to do something that will add a lot of value to your learning. And not just that, you will, at the end of the day, after COVID is done, etc., you have experience with regards to problem solving, with regards to collaboration and all that, which will really add a lot to your future.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 Ishan. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just that thank you so much. Like, it was a really great experience knowing about all the ins and outs of the entrepreneurship and from a developer point of view. And thanks for taking all of these questions and everything. Like,
Sure. Yeah. I really
and
loved the whole opportunity. Thanks a lot for that. Yeah. Yeah.
and before wrapping it up, I am just like I just have one question. Do you want to say anything
Okay.
to our
Cool.
developers or like anyone working this team? Okay, how they can proceed with the idea or anything they have, like what they can do right now. Okay, so that in the end they have a kind of a point that they can stuck in their mind and make the use of that point.
Ishan, could you repeat your question? I couldn't understand exactly.
Yeah, I'm just saying before wrapping this meeting, do you have any point or something which you can just tell to us viewers, okay, which will get stuck in their mind and they can make the use of this meeting, a point which will help them in
Okay.
making.
Yeah. 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 I got that. Yeah. So I just want you to understand entrepreneurship better. It's not about creating businesses. It's not big boys game, or it's not something restricted only to few people. Try to bring entrepreneurship as a, you know, as a mindset for solving even your personal problems, your academic problems, and all that. And trust me, there is a lot to learn from it, because entrepreneurship is not about just, you know, making profits. It's about value. And everything you do in your life, if you can bring in value, if you can try to think about it, like everything, if you take it as a problem and you try to figure out the solution, I think you will go a long way out there. You know, you have to see the world as, you know, all the challenges are problems that can be solved. They're not walls which cannot be broken. So I would want people to just understand that at a personal level, and also at a community level. Why is it important for people to really come together, try to learn things, create safe spaces for people, and kind of like grow in that kind of an environment and go forward. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dheeraj. I
Yeah,
think
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ishan.
that's
Yeah,
it all. But like, it was really great experience for us as well as our viewers. Everyone, like, I am sure everyone learned a lot from all of these things, and we'll share the live streaming as well from to our audience after this
awesome.
event.
Okay.
We'll share the recording on our YouTube channel and as well as the link to the live stream to everyone. If anyone is interested, they can just directly message me or any of the DevSoc member will provide you the live streaming video. And
Right.
if you have any feedback related to the video quality or anything related to this event, DevFest, any questions or something, you can just message us, mail us on devsoc@gmail.com.
Definitely,
Tomorrow
sure.
we'll.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you so much, Suraj. That's it from our side.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Yep. Have a good fest, guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much.